right, everybody, welcome back. My name is Kristen Binford. I am a wedding venue owner. You are in one of our online communities with us if you're watching this video today. And I have an extra special guest who has so many great stories to share. We were actually just talking offline before we came on with you today. I'd love my friend Aaron to introduce himself. Welcome, my friend. Tell us a little bit about you and your venue.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so our venue is Win in the Willows. We're in Grantville, which is just outside of Hershey, Pennsylvania. So we have owned this place since 2019. So that was our first wedding season. This was a wedding venue there for a number of years. We say the first wedding here would have been the year 2000. I'd say in earnest, they really did weddings here from about 2006 on. So we took it over in 2019. The owners there were ready to go off to greener pastures, and we had kind of connected with them through coming to a wedding here. So just time was right for them, and we took it over from them.
That's cool. Where was the business at when you bought it? Like, did you buy the business? Did you just buy the property? Tell us a little bit about that.
It was here. Yeah, everything was here. So we took it over. It was property, business, everything. We didn't move anything. We didn't change the name or anything. It really had a good reputation in the community, both the owners and the venue itself. So, we came in and really just kind of took it over. And I mean, it was definitely a smaller operation. So the previous owners had kind of intentionally kept it. They always said it was the best kept secret in this area, and it really was, because you couldn't find them. Like if you didn't know them or know somebody that got married here, you weren't going to find it. They didn't have a website, didn't do anything like that. So we took it over. They said, "Hey, look, there's a lot of potential to make this place great. We're at a stage of life we don't feel like doing that, but if we found a young, energetic couple who really wanted to do it, there's opportunity to do that." So yeah, we came in here really with the intention of wanting to scale this up and to really kind of reach everyone in the community. So we built a website, did all that kind of stuff. So we really experienced extremely fast growth in the first couple of years. I think when the first year we took over, we did about 30 weddings, which is 2019. 2020 was, well, of course, COVID year, which I think we did somewhere in the 50s, mid 50s. And then we were doing 2021 and 2022. We were doing about, I think it was 73 the one year, 72 the other year, or something like that. So when we took this over and had that intention of scaling it up, I mean, we were kind of looking the first few years and we're saying, this is easy. Like every year we just, add a new thing and build and get, and somewhere around 2022 though, maybe the beginning of 2022, we just hit this complete roadblock. I looked and I said, we're at low 70 weddings, and that's just what we are. Like we're not going any further than this. So 21 and 22 were that way. 23 was shaping up the exact same way. And I'm like, it's just more of the same. And I know there's people who are going to say like, oh, well, that's great, 70 weddings, but that's really not where we wanted to stop. And so it's funny, early in 22, I told my wife, I'm like, we're at a ceiling, we're hitting something, and I don't know what it is. I couldn't even put words to it, but I was like, we have got to do something. And we've got to find a way to break through this ceiling and get to the next level. And so I think I had come across one of your videos. I couldn't even tell you this day how I came across it, but I sent it to Andrea and I said, we need to call her. And I'm saying within a day or two of finding you, we had scheduled a call. It was a couple of days later, and boom, there we are in the venue accelerator. So,
awesome.
Life comes at you fast.
Yeah, I tell you what, guys. So listen, if you are watching this video, go ahead and comment #live if you're here now, #replay. If you are here later, it's going to be, we're also going to ask you to comment #AaronRocks later, because as you can tell, this is going to be a great story and a great interview. And you had some big goals, right? So I'm curious, just because it's always interesting to know, what was your background before you bought the business?
So my background was as a structural engineer. Well, since you're asking, I guess I can tell you, I'll go into the whole story. I was trying, for brevity's sake, I was trying to skip this, but the way I even found this place was I used to DJ. So when I was young and out of college, my brother was DJing, and he said, "Hey, I'm working with this guy. This is, it's a cool gig. You get to go to all these cool places and it's a great weekend gig, and you make pretty good money doing it. So I was like, okay, it's just something to do on the side. And so I came here to DJ a wedding. And the first time I came here, I talked with Dave, who's the owner of this place, and just a very friendly, very down to earth kind of person. And every time I came here, I talked to him. The one time I was talking to him, I said, "Yeah, you know, like my wife and I, we've talked about maybe doing something like this someday." And he just looks at me dead eye. He goes, "Why don't you buy this place?" I said, "Well, was it for sale?" And he said, "Buddy, everything's for sale." And so yeah, my background really in the wedding industry was just like DJing, but I mean, through doing that, I had seen everything in this area. I had seen all the venues. I've really seen what it was, and I felt like I could tell, having been here, I was like, this is a place that really has potential.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, just from the owner standpoint, they intentionally kind of really didn't grow it as much as they could have. So yeah.
Super interesting. Structural engineer and DJ, and now venue.
Yeah, not a big, not a mix you're going to hear too often, right? No DJing anymore. I try not to tell people that. Like, you could DJ our wedding. I'm like, I could not DJ our wedding.
Yeah, we have
So,
secret talents, but we're not going to talk. No, I'm just teasing. So,
yeah, no
okay,
secret
so
talents
I'm
here.
really curious. So you were at that kind of 70 weddings a year. The market was kind of giving you that 70 weddings a year. You're hitting this kind of invisible ceiling, but you're not really sure why. Like, what was it that was the motivator to you that you wanted to keep scaling the business?
That's a good question. I think just that for us, I mean, we felt like that wasn't the end, right? And I don't know, just kind of had a natural feel of like, we can do more. And so with doing more weddings is more opportunity to really continue to improve the place, right? It's more cash flow, so you're able to do more improvements and grow things. And my nature is to say, you know, what's the next thing we can do to make this place better, and not even necessarily from just a cash flow standpoint, but just from an experience standpoint, right? It's nice to change things and to see things improve, and to see people take something that you had an idea, something you've implemented, and enjoy it, right? And so, and that's what's great about this. I mean, I know there are the venues. I'm sure you work with them a lot too. That it's like, hey, this is old, you have some old property, right? And then you dump a lot of money into restoring it. And when you're done, you're just done, right? And that's not this at all. Like when we bought this place, we knew it's like, hey, it's to here, right? And then like there's this next bit to go to really finish this off, and that's really my background's in construction. So it was like, you know, that's what I enjoy. It's like you're never done. There's always something else you can do, always something else you can build, and something that's going to help the experience here. So.
So I love that you said that, because it's in true like wedding venue owner fashion, right? If you're a wedding venue owner watching this video, I joke, especially with new venue owners, like, you might be ready to host weddings, but you're never going to be done. We always have something else. There's always something that we're striving for and stretching for, et cetera. So, okay, cool. And I'm curious, I feel like you told me a story one time about kind of your tour to, if you think back to kind of before we met, right? That, what was that, about a year ago now? Early
Like almost
January.
a year ago today. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep. Yeah, I know it is. Feels like longer than that.
It does. It does. I totally agree with you. And you've had so much progress in just a year. But tell me about things, some of the metrics in your business, your tour to booking ratio, some of the things you felt like you were seeing as opportunities, but hadn't quite really figured out yet. Talk to me about where you were.
Yeah, so I'd say I'll break that down into two categories. So the first thing would be, part of the reason we contacted you is like I saw a major decline in our tour to booking ratio, which to that point had been very steady. And part of it too was it was like it's in this, well, not this time of year, but like in the January, February, which a lot of venue owners will tell you, it's like you seem to get a lot of tours in January, but it's also seems to be your lowest conversion rate. I don't know if that's true for everybody else. It seems to be a fairly steady metric for us. But yeah, that kind of had fallen off. We were really only relying on Wedding Wire and the Knot for our advertising and for leads, and I think that just had gotten worse. And the number, like part of it was, I remember again, one of the videos that I've watched before we even met, you were talking about your website. Like your website's either your biggest salesperson or it's not. And I looked at our website. I had built our website, and I did it when we first moved here because it was like, we have to have a website, right? Like, and it was just kind of bam, go find, I don't know even what I was using, Shopify or something, whatever. But I would like, it's just throw something out there. But every time I looked at the website, our website sucks. And it did, it's terrible. And so just having like, there was that. So I'd say the first thing was just kind of like, I was really seeing a decrease in our just overall tour to booking ratio, and also like the number of inquiries that come through. But I'd say the second part too is one of the biggest things I learned was just like we were giving people zero incentive to book dates that we didn't want to book.
Yeah.
Or that didn't, not that we didn't, or that we wanted to book that were hard to book, I should say. So like we were, and I don't know why that was such a mind bender for us. I like, it was like, yeah, this is simple. You're giving people zero incentive. And so we really had to kind of, one of the things we really felt like program helped us do was really kind of look at our overall wedding schedule in aggregate and say, okay, here are the dates we're trying to fill. How are we going to strategically approach this so that we are filling all of those dates versus just kind of, yeah, here's our dates, there's the calendar, hope you like one of them, book one. You know, yeah. you have to be intentional about it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good stuff, Michael. So I'm only asking about this because before we got on video here, you said something that I think would be interesting and useful for other people to kind of hear. You said, Kristen, I've seen all of these ads and all of these things, people showing up. We kind of wondered, are you a real person? Is this just another gimmick? Having kind of been on the inside and we know each other as real people now.
Yeah,
what's
sure.
your perspective on that these days?
So yeah, I think it was yeah, to kind of give everyone here watching this the kind of conversation we just had is, yeah, when I first saw your videos, I sent them to Andrea, my wife, and I said, we've got to schedule a call with this person. And she's looking at it, she's like, well, you know, why? I'm like, I'm like, I have this feeling like this is something we need to do. And at the same time though, and this is what we were counting earlier, is I'm looking, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many different like venue owners, you need this, like you need this one thing, and this one thing is going to transform your business. And I'm looking at it, and for lack of a better word, just like, are you a sucker? Like you just like, this is a person who's promising that they're going to completely transform your business, and all it's going to do is just be a total waste of time and money. And I don't know. We met, and when we met you and we talked, I got off the call and I was just like, this is it. I didn't know how it was. I didn't know how I knew that, but I was like, this is the thing that the kind of last piece that we're needing. And I think a lot of people really they're hesitant to ask for help too. Yeah. I'm a guy, right? So like I don't ask for directions when I'm going somewhere, right? But I do think, especially in business, a lot of the people I see that are very successful in business know the limits of what they can do by themselves, right? And even the smartest people out there and the people who are the most successful still have people that they go to for help. And I just, like I said, I felt like I told Andrew, I'm like, we have zero wedding background. Our wedding background is I used to be a DJ, like, and that, yeah. And some of it was just school of hard knocks, right? Like we had learned a lot doing that, but there was still, I was like, there's this piece missing that I feel like somebody who actually is in the wedding business and has experience in the wedding business could impart to us. And I think this is the other thing we were talking about before we got on the call here is it's amazing now that it's not like we changed everything in the business. We had to make, I'm talking like slight adjustments. If you're thinking in degrees, it's not a 180 degree turn for us. We're going the wrong direction. We need to make an about face. For us, it was like, you're in the right direction, but like, change a couple of degrees this direction here, change a couple of degrees here. And so one of the things we were saying here is that like for us, if you booked here 2 years ago and versus you booked here now, from the outside, you'd say, hey, what's different? And they'd say, well, you have a better website. You have some better resources for couples who are booked here, and you're doing more weddings. That's all it looks like. So outward facing, that's what it is. But like on the inside, it was just a lot of couple of degree changes to what we were doing. So yeah,
looks very different behind the curtain, but still you, right? It's like those, sure, those 2 and 3 degree tweaks are across a continuum of your business, you guys. Like that's where more opportunity lies. There is no shiny ball. There is no magic strategy. There is no handshake that I taught you that was the thing that made you book an extra 25 weddings a year, right? Yeah.
And part of that too is like, I'd say too, like, if anything, it helped. It was a better representation of ourselves. So for example, like at the website, I was always, and it's funny, like you talk about StoryBrand, that book, and I had read StoryBrand years ago. And I thought about it on our website, and my whole thing was with our website, don't talk about yourself. It's not about you. You're not the hero of the story. They're the hero of the story, blah, blah, blah. And so our website had zero mention of us, did not sound like us. It was just it was like bland, just blah, here's what we do here. And so if anything, I feel like it has made us more true to ourselves, because people show up to the website, or sorry, people show up to a tour here, and I can tell there's a lot of people who are like, we already know you. I get that because we do have, like, it sounds like us in our website. You know, it just sounds like us coming through. And we do have stuff about us in there, right? Like, we have an about us page where I was like, oh, this is a major thing. I can't have an about us page because now it's about us. You can have it, just don't put it at the front of the website. You know, can't be the first thing. Here's everything about us first as soon as you have it land on the website. But I do feel like having that just help people show up, and it's like, no, I'm a real human being. I've got kids. I've got a wife. This is my business. This is how we live. You know. So,
Well,
so yeah,
people want to buy.
it doesn't change you at all.
Yeah, people want to buy, but they don't want to be sold, right? And one of the things that you
Sure.
guys have done just such a great job of being able to show yourself in your overall brand messaging and your overall communication strategy. And people buy from people they know, like, and trust.
Sure.
So
yeah, and I remember I love you said that before we were in the accelerator. I was like, that's so true. People buy from people, you know.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. It's like you do, right? You want to support someone. You'd much rather support someone you like than someone you don't. So yeah.
We're not just big buildings, guys. We're the people behind them too. So I love it.
Yeah.
So, okay. So let's celebrate. Just tell everybody where you're at in the business now. So that's, if you look back to a year ago where you were in the business, tell us about what can you find to celebrate today, my friend, and where's the business these days?
So I think, yeah, some of it is, I mean, the kind of clearest thing is just the metric of like, yeah, we're where we want to be as far as weddings, just the overall volume. But it's not, people hear that and say it's, oh, well, you just like, you make more money and that's great. It's not that. It's that doing that allows you to do things that you want to do. And so there are places, again, I said this place is a work in progress. And so there's always things that I'm looking around and I'm saying, man, like, if people came here and if they had an X, right, like, that would be so great. And I don't even think in terms of sales, right? I'm just looking at it and saying, like, this off season, we're putting a new area in for the groomsmen. And it's not because as soon as we do that, there's like, oh, well, now we can charge X amount more for a wedding. No, it's just like, people are going to have a better experience here. And so that's something we're excited about. Is just like the opportunity that provides is allowing us to better serve couples, because it's not, the budget for what we want to do around here is a lot better doing that. And then I'd say the other thing is just getting more help and having more free time. Part of what was, I mean, we didn't even talk about this, but part of what we were looking at when we started talking to you too, is that we were burnt out. We were doing so many of the weddings ourselves. And we had this almost like artificially created hurdle where it was like, we can't find people to help us with weddings.
Yeah.
And I can remember being on a call with you and you're just like, why? Like, why you say that? Have you looked? And we basically realized, no, we haven't even looked. And we're like, it's this, we're lamenting our condition, but we haven't really done anything to change it. And so we really were intentional also in the betting accelerator, trying to get a better hold of that part of the business and having people to help us, because it's a better version of ourselves when we aren't burnt out. But some of the things we did in the accelerator too are just more like automation things that really helped us save time. I never, or I shouldn't say never, but you rarely get emails now, people, what's your pricing like? Or how's this? Or like the questions I got so sick of answering, but like, you get sick of answering them. Then it's like, hey, dummy, it's your own fault. You don't tell people anything and you expect them to know, right? And so having some of that automation in there, having a better website and everything else has freed up so much more time, because I do so much less of the administrative, just wrote over and over kinds of things, scheduling tours, emailing people 20 times back and forth, trying to find a time that works for both of you, just those kinds. So I guess I'm just excited about the fact that we don't do those things anymore.
Well, and listen, like, one of the things that we haven't talked about it, and I know we only have so much time before your next call, but like, one of the things that starts to stunt your growth is you become the roadblock in the business, right? So if you want to grow, but you don't have time to grow, and you don't have the systems and the structure built to bring team into the business. You know this, it's more about than just team. You got to have the structure to bring team into the business, then the business can't grow. So okay, my friend, so I want to ask you this, because I know we only have about 5 minutes before your next call. Sometimes people sit on the fence and they are like, oh, one day we're going to book a call with Kristen's team, or I don't know, is this really for me? Is there any way that we can see value in this conversation? What would you say to someone who's on the fence about booking a call with our team or joining the venue?
Yeah, and I think this is going to sound cliche, but like, you're going to regret you didn't do it sooner. And I don't know how else to say it, because like for us, and we were talking this off the call, is that there's our venues, and that we both know kind of how we operate, but like it's they're very similar. And for us, it was I can't tell you how many times I've told my wife, I'm like, this is like, your venue is what is kind of like what we are, but like 8 years or however many years ahead of us, right? And so what that really did was, for us, the venue accelerator is just like, it literally accelerated. It's like all the things I want to do, and I kind of said, yeah, 5 years down the road, I'll do these things. I was like, I'll do them now. And we did them now, and it has immediate dividends. And I know the big thing you always talk about, and it's so true, because I never worded it this way, but it is so true, is when you said your biggest cost in business is unbooked dates. That is your absolute highest cost in the business. And so there are people who are saying, oh, well, it's going to cost me money. It's costing you money not booking weddings right now. Like every single wedding you don't book is costing you money. And so, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Yeah, probably the best way to say it is like, I just look at it the same way I was looking at it and saying, it's an opportunity cost. And the opportunity cost for us, at least, I'm looking at it and saying it's in the 6 figures every year we don't do this. And so when you look at it that way, and I'm amazed, I really am, in not just this business, but in business in general, the places that people look at something and say, well, that costs too much money, instead of thinking, okay, what is it going to cost me if I don't? And I get it. How do you prove that? Because you can't see, you're not clairvoyant. You can't see a year down the road. But I think the value that the accelerator brought us, you can pay that value back in a couple of months, easy. So yeah,
my friend. Speaking of a year down the road, what do you want to be celebrating 1 year from now?
A year from now, I'm hoping. Really good question. I hadn't even thought about that. I think I want to be celebrating that we really have a lot of these major, kind of what I call major improvements out of the way. And so we have, like I said, we've kind of just keep evolving and growing. And there are a couple things that we really targeted this year that we said, we're going to do these things, and we are not doing these things to make more money. We are doing this to make our life easier. Our wedding host life easier, and just making this place run more efficiently and kind of exactly the way we want. So that's what I'm hoping to celebrate a year from now, is that it looks kind of exactly what we envisioned maybe 4 years ago when we took this place over. So.
I love it. My invitation to you is to share that into the group a year from now, my friend. Good stuff. All right, guys. I know we have just a minute or 2 here left. Aaron has been such a great guest today. We could talk all day. This has been such a fun interview. Super proud of you. And thank you so much for your time today. For anybody who is watching with us, go ahead and comment hashtag live if you're here with us now, hashtag replay if you watch this later. And if you want to take Aaron up on his advice to just stop waiting and book a call. That's what I think I heard you say. You wish you would have done it sooner. A lot of
absolutely. If we would have known 4 years earlier, we would have.
Yeah. Awesome. So the way to see our team's calendar, guys, is just kristenbinford.com/accelerator. We're good people. We're here to help the people that we can. We'll be totally honest with you. We'll dig in. If we can help you, we'll show you how. If something else is better, we'll be totally honest about that too. And so grateful to have you here with us today, my friend.
Absolutely. It was good. Good catching up.
Absolutely, guys. All right, kristenbinford.com/accelerator to see our calendar, and we'll see you guys in another video. Thanks, everybody.